Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the REC podcast, brought to you by the REC Toycast. I'm your host, Roman Chavez, and with me, as always,
Eric Icarus.
Eric,
what's up, dude?
You can find us on the gram at REC Podcast.
It's true.
You can follow myself at Roman REC Podcast, and you can follow yourself.
Gulag_J_Wielden.
How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. We've got a kind of a new recording schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Some work gets in the way, so you're gonna notice the episodes kind of coming out a little bit different. We're still gonna drop 2 a week, just in different fashion, with some extra episodes of things as well. If you haven't checked out Roman's Mailbag episode 1, that is on YouTube right now, so go give that a check.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah, you want to see
the haul, baby?
Yeah, see what I'm buying.
See the booty.
That's a different show. All right? That is a different show. Man, we have things to discuss, and it's good because we kind of took a little bit of time to get together. Mm-hmm. And I guess the first thing I want to talk to you about, though, is I watched something crazy on Disney Plus. I watched they have this series. It's called 616, and from what I can tell, it's little mini documentaries within Marvel.
Okay.
And one of them was about toys and toy photography.
Okay.
But there was a full one about the Japanese Spider-Man. Are you familiar with the Japanese?
Well versed in Japanese Spider-Man.
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
So the Japanese Spider-Man, for those that don't know, was a property that Marvel did in Japan in the 80s, I think.
70s, 80s.
Yeah,
it's around that time frame.
And basically, they were trying to, no comics are being done there with the exception of manga, but no American comics were being done. So they were trying to reach another audience, trying to broaden their horizons, but they basically just used it Spider-Man in name. And it has nothing to do with Spider-Man. He has this weird bracelet that makes him Spider-Man. And dude, he says wild crap. And he's got a robot,
yes.
A Spider-Man robot,
mm-hmm. Yep.
a Spider-Man car, and his dad dies. It's not his uncle.
Ben.
Yeah, dude, it's so bizarre. But the best thing, and I don't know if you've seen any of it really, but Spider-Man shows up to save this person from the bad guys, and the bad guys don't know who he is, and they're like, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm an emissary of hell, Spider-Man." I was like, "What the hell?"
That's pretty awesome.
And they have the actor talking about it, and he was like, "Hell." He's like, "Nothing had been this dark." Oh my god, it was so ridiculous.
It's a weird place to take that character, because that's something Peter Parker, he might say it to be funny.
Yes.
He'd say it in a very sarcastic tone, but...
Yeah, if he was eavesdropping on some satanic people,
or
then he would
Ghost
say
Rider
he would say something ridiculous like that.
Not being that's that maybe Ghost Rider could get away with.
Dude, he was the emissary of hell.
And that's my name.
Yeah, it's no longer Gulag. It's emissary of hell at Gulag J, whatever, all of that crap. But yeah, dude, me and my wife watched that today, and I had to tell you about it. I had heard about it. I had never seen any footage.
Oh man, it's
and
bad.
I think I had seen footage, but not known that that's what it was.
Right. That's yes.
And check out this little docu-series on it's
Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's called 616. It's in the Marvel tab, and it's super fun, super interesting, and it's worth checking out.
For the kids that don't know, what is 616?
616 is the universe designation for the comic book Marvel universe, just where all the main titles come out of. It gives them a way to say, oh, there's 616 at least realities. So on Earth, 615. Maybe Iron Man is a female, or maybe there is no Iron Man. So it's just alluding to alternate realities.
And then my favorite Earth, 311, which is the 1605 universe.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
1602.
1602.
Yeah.
1602.
I didn't know there was 311. That's interesting. Yeah.
Down.
Amber's the color of your energy. There's been some interesting news about Sony, and this makes total sense for Sony. Sounds like they're trying to tap Keanu Reeves. Trying to tap the whole place, really, to be Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
It's rumor mill, but from reputable sources. Yeah. And I gotta tell you, I'm all on board with the Keanu Sans. I'm not super on board with the idea of him being Kraven the Hunter. I don't see it at all.
Very miscast here.
Morbius, for sure.
Yeah,
could have been an awesome Morbius.
Yeah.
a little too old, but he's
immortal. He's immortal. Yeah, it would make sense that he play a vampire.
I agree.
Why not? Kraven, him playing Kraven, I don't see it. For those who don't know, Kraven the Hunter is a Russian hunter. Correct?
And I don't even know if he's Russian, but he's definitely
Sergei Kraven. Yeah, there you go.
He's definitely from the Eastern Bloc. I don't know.
Yes, that makes... Yes.
He might be from some made-up part of, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's Russia Prime.
Right.
Okay? So I'm not entirely sure about that.
He's from the outskirts of Latveria.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, so I don't know. And Kraven's energy in the comic books to me it doesn't project calmness of the Keanu man.
Mm-hmm.
Kraven's how would you describe him? He's obviously a psycho because he's just a hunter. He's not enhanced, as far as I know. He's not an enhanced human, right?
He is. Yeah,
he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
He gets injured in Africa, and then they give him this experimental tea, and it ends up healing him because I think he gets injured fighting like a lion or something.
Okay. Oh,
And
that's why he wears that.
Yeah, and then he's on his deathbed, but then this tea gives him enhanced stuff, but then it also just really ignites that hunter inside.
Sure.
So he becomes that which he despises. All right,
and then he wants to hunt the most dangerous game of all.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, an emissary of hell. Yeah, I would hunt that guy. I would hunt that guy.
I would too.
He might just be doing us a solid.
Yeah, I think so. You know who I would have picked to play Kraven? Viggo Mortensen.
Viggo Mortensen would have been interesting.
He would have been an amazing Kraven the Hunter. Because he can do the accent because he played Eastern Promises, and he did it. One of my favorite movies, by the way. And kind of a hunter in that movie in some aspects.
I was always a big proponent of Gerard Butler. I think Gerard Butler would be a really. I think that would be better.
I want Gerard Butler.
Yeah. I think Gerard Butler could do it really well.
I think he'd be really good at that.
He can kind of sell you the crazy a bit too.
Oh, yeah.
And not that Viggo can't, but Viggo, I think
he's more subdued.
Yeah.
And Kraven we need him to be Gerard Butler level crazy. And Gerard Butler's got the combat training.
Yes.
So, I think this is going to be a missed opportunity if this does happen. Don't blow your shot with Keanu on Kraven. Don't give him kind of a third-tier villain position.
It feels like
in the Sonyverse.
Yeah, because maybe that's the point. Maybe it's Keanu will do one, but he doesn't want to do a bunch.
Right.
So you can get him for a solo endeavor.
Sure.
But
somebody, I don't know. I like Kraven the Hunter.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love Kraven, but I don't see Keanu playing it. I don't know. Maybe they know what they're doing.
I don't think he'll do it.
I don't think so either. I think maybe they're reaching out for something else. Hopefully he'll get something else.
Yes.
I want him in the MCU.
Oh, totally.
I really do.
Totally.
I'm just waiting for them to finally cast Osborn.
Yeah.
Not Harry.
Norman.
Norman.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's okay. It's been a while since we've had a Goblin.
I know,
and you're not the most well-read Spider-Man guy in the last 10, 15 years either.
No.
So
because there's a bunch of Goblins out there. But I am a big pusher for Matthew McConaughey to play Norman Osborn.
I'm into
Get on that MCU.
I'm into it.
Get on that Figs.
But this is still a Sony property, so maybe we want to wait till all the good stuff can go back, because there is rumors that if Venom and Morbius don't perform to the standards at which Sony proper wants, that they may end up doing a deal. That's complete rumors, nothing substantiated, but somebody said it. And it's a little interesting. It's a little interesting. Can you come a little closer to me? I just want to get a little. Just want to get close to you. I want to get
feel the energy.
Somehow,
you want to feel the energy?
I don't think we need another villain in Spider-Man 3.
No.
So
see, they're making the same mistakes.
It's a Sony move. It's a Sony move, man. And and I think Sony, like DC, has a problem with they can't make stars, so they try to get us to go because of stars.
Right, which is
they could have made Henry Cavill. They really could. And arguably you can say that they did, but it's not like what they did with Hemsworth, Evans. Evans was a star in his own right, but I mean,
he's not now.
Yeah. Until
Chris Pratt.
Oh yeah. Made him lose some weight. Like Star-Lord, baby.
So yeah, that's going to be very miscast. I think we're both wanting Keanu in the MCU in some faction, but not as Sergei Kravenov.
No, and I don't need any more. I don't need any more jammed into what sounds like an already jam-packed movie.
Right.
Spider-Man 3, whatever.
It's turning into a clown car, Sony. Stop it.
It's very much the clown car of the baby MCU. But Tom Holland says it's going to be the most ambitious Marvel project to date. We'll see, because we're going to be talking about what's arguably the most ambitious thing to date right now. But we are Marvel lap riders, lap sitters.
Well, Marvel stands.
Marvel stands. There we go. So let's go ahead and give credit where credit's due. More Snyder Cut stuff. More Snyder Cut.
Snide man, you can't get enough of this. This is my boy's jam right here.
Friend of the show, Big Tuna, says I'm constantly talking about the Snyder Cut. An image came out. We know that Jared Leto was going to be reprising his role as the Joker in the Snyder Cut, which is now a 4-hour R-rated black and white whatever
masterpiece.
Yeah, apparently. And a cool image came out of the Joker. Leto as the Joker.
Yeah.
Very much in the vein of you could even say Dark Knight or the Arthur story, the Arthur Fleck story, like kind of more of that longer hair, less tattoo look. I didn't even get any tattoos on him.
I think the tattoos might be going on this.
More a little crow look, in terms of like Dead Hooker, Dead Hooker look. And I gotta say, I enjoyed the image. I vocal about it. I was a fan of Leto's Joker. No Ledger, but I liked it more than Joaquin's. So come for me, whatever. I just I thought that there was a lot of room, a lot of juice left on that one to get out.
Leto?
Of Leto's. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I like the image. I'm totally down with that.
Where do you think this fits into the Justice League story?
I'm wondering if it's a dream sequence. I wonder if it's in the dream sequence, because in this world in which the parademons are taking over, Darkseid has come, and we've seen images of Batman kind of in those goggles again. So, the dream sequence from Man of Steel, or Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah,
is this more of that dream sequence, and maybe Joker has been, that's why his hair is so long, and maybe Batman goes to visit him for guidance, for, how do you fight a madman? Just something like that. I don't know, maybe it's a Hannibal Lecter type scene.
Why wouldn't you... Dude, genius.
Yeah.
And they won't do that.
Sure, why not? But, why would they?
God, that would be so... Dude.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah.
I want Batman to go in there and...
Or maybe let him out. Because, it's parademons, everybody's enslaved, Superman's nuts, this and that.
Yeah.
Because we keep seeing things for the black suit Superman as well.
Right.
So is that in the dream sequence, or is that in continuity? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
we're going to get some answers sooner than later, because I think it's... debuts sooner than later.
Yes. Yeah, March, I believe. March or April.
Oh, man. That's right around the corner.
Right around the corner. And, maybe we will... maybe we'll take time out of Falcon Winter Soldier to do that, because that's also March. Did you see the Super Bowl ad for it? Oh, my gosh.
Very cool.
Oh, my gosh. Let's do this. Looks so good.
Yeah. Arguably going to be more action-packed than what WandaVision is.
Yes.
Yes. I think this is kind of... I like the way they're spacing this out. They're giving us a really cerebral... take on some of our favorite, Marvel MCU characters, and then going in right into some action.
Yes.
Hardcore action. Not to say that it's lacking any thought-provoking stuff, but Marvel Winter Soldier is going to be a nice shoot 'em up.
Well, spoilers, if you hadn't seen it, the trailer, there's a really good scene with Zemo, or at least a voiceover, where he's like, I have no intention of letting my work be undone. So, he's out, obviously this is after the snap. So this is 5-6 years later from him getting captured.
Yes.
And, there's, what has he learned? What does he know? I'm kind of thinking that maybe he's rebuilding Hydra to an extent. But I love the scenes of where it's almost like Falcon, Winter Soldier, and couples counseling.
Yeah.
Oh my, they're having the staring contest.
Yep.
I've been craving a buddy comedy type thing from Marvel for as long as I can remember, and I think we're going to get it.
Yes.
I think that this is what's going to be with really good action. We're seeing them both use the shield, so yeah, I'm very excited.
It's funny because we kind of got a quasi buddy flick with Captain Marvel. You could argue that Nick Fury and Captain Marvel were the buddy cop duo. Yeah. It was okay.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot more to extrapolate from that, and there's a lot more to be done with that type of dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be, it looks great, as usual, Marvel, I hate crapping on DC, but, I think it'd be funny if they gave us a still of Zemo in a his hair is all long.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's going to be good, and, they just keep giving us what we like. So maybe we crap on DC, but it's raise your game. Just step your game up, and I know it's easier said than done, but you got to figure it out.
You guys have all the game pieces.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want.
And it's not like you're not spending money. You're spending tons of money.
Lots of money.
And you're just not doing what we actually need. But the Leto picture does have me excited for something.
It's piqued my curiosity.
Yes,
I'll go with
yes.
that. Yeah.
As we alluded to, WandaVision episode 5. Spoilers, we're going to be talking about it. Episode 5, which, episode 4 was so good, really raised the bar, started giving us some answers and more questions. And episode 5 was not a disappointment. There were tons of interesting threads, great reveals, and I think that there's going to be a lot of story to set up, just even from the ancillary characters. Yeah. I'm into Wu. We obviously are into Monica Rambeau.
Oh yeah, big
That's
time.
an idea. We like Darcy. There's been fan rumors that Wu could get his own spin-off. It's kind of like an X-Files.
Totally.
Type, and I would love it. Yeah. I think we would all be very into it. But in this episode, it's on a very special episode or something like that was the title.
Playing to the 80s aspect, because that's when that very special episode stuff started coming into play with sitcoms.
Full House, Growing Pains, Family Ties,
Yep.
A lot of that style of reference, and we're really seeing more of those layers being pulled back. We're getting Monica's first kind of hand account, and I loved how she described it.
Yeah.
How she says, I was there. She's being debriefed by Sword. She's like, I was, stuck inside my own body, and I was being held down by a feeling. And she says, and that feeling is grief. And I was like, wow, man. Like the overall feeling of everybody in the town is they're feeling Wanda's grief.
Right.
For the Vision.
Exactly.
We get to see more of the people in there, and there's some interesting interaction with the Agnes character, which I saw this recently this week, that when they were doing who's who in the town and they had their driver's license, Agnes and I think the other neighbor, the black guy with the fro, they don't have driver's license pictures.
Oh.
So they may be more, we feel that Agnes is more than meets the eye.
What she's saying.
Yeah, she's more Transformer than we know. But there was an interesting scene where they have the twins. They're doing their thing. It's 80s. Agnes comes in unannounced, very Kimmy Gibbler, very the neighbor next door of the 80s. And she's offering to try to help them. And she says something, and she wants to hold the babies so that they can take a nap or something. And Vision's like, hey, maybe when's the last time you washed your hands? Like, he's being overprotective parent, and it kind of spooks Agnes. And she looks at Wanda and she says, do you want me to take it from the top? And she's like, what? And Vision's like, yeah. And so again, Agnes this whole time has seemed to be more involved and maybe more aware of what's going on.
Because she's playing along.
She is. She's
not being manipulated.
No. And if she is, she's she's a willful participant.
Right.
Which was she trying to help? Here's my theory right now. I think she might have been a member of SWORD.
Right.
That's why they don't have
a dossier on her.
And maybe coming up to another point later, I'll come back to that, but I think she may have been an agent of SWORD. And Vision is just very off-put by this. It's Saturday, and then we kind of cut to Vision being at his office.
Yes.
And you see they're putting in computers. He's telling them about email. They're all very excited, and they're looking at the computers, and an email comes in from SWORD talking about the Maximoff anomaly. And, it says it's from SWORD. He's like, I don't know what this is. And you can, as he's reading it, everybody in the office is reading it too. So they're all reading it in unison. It's so creepy. And then Vision kind of goes up to Norm, his buddy, and kind of touches him on the temples like that. And it releases him. Yep. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, how long has it been? Yeah. Where's my phone? I need it. My dad is sick. And then he touches him again. And he reverts back to being Norm. And it's okay, Vision he no longer has any suspicions. He knows that there is something wrong.
You're right.
The twins are randomly aging themselves.
Yeah, it even shows it in the credits, which is hilarious, dude. It gets the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birthday candles.
Yes.
That was funny.
They're aging themselves to get things that they want, and they end up getting a puppy.
Yes.
It's very sweet. They get a puppy. Vision's not into it.
Sparky.
Mom's into it.
Which is, real quick, a comic book character.
Yep.
I did not know that until I think my dad told me about that, which is odd because I think it's from a newer run.
It's from a newer run. Oh, yeah,
and he knew that.
So there's a Vision storyline in which Vision moves to the suburbs. He builds himself a family. It's not Wanda, and he has like a automaton dog or whatever. So, and it is Sparky, and this dog is Sparky. It's not a robot, but it's just a nice nod for the fans.
Yeah, exactly.
The Geraldine or Monica. It's interesting because she was thinking that the world is being projected into their heads, but her clothes from being inside Westview still exist.
Right.
And it turns out that they're like manipulated fibers, like they scan it and it's like 87% Kevlar.
Yeah.
And she was wearing a Kevlar vest. So we now know that Wanda is manipulating the molecules, manipulating reality.
Everything.
She created these clothes
for
the people. So it's not a mental projection. It's
real.
It's their clothes. They end up getting another drone to go inside, and this is where the things start to take another turn. Where the drone, I think they coded it in something like similar to, so it didn't have to be manipulated because the other drones they were putting in were being changed.
Right.
And I inferred that they took some of her clothing that Wanda had made, and then they just kind of like basically made a shield for this. That's not what they said outright. That's just what my comic book brain said. Makes sense, right?
Makes total
comic
sense
science,
to me. I like it.
Science. Wanda sees the drone, and it's great because it's kind of in black and white. And Monica's trying to talk to her. She's like, "Hey, we just want to talk." Blah 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 blah. And then she loses control of the drones. And the director Hayward, he's like, "Hey, take the shot." So he gives control to somebody else. And there's like a missile on it, and it's great. It's like black and white imagery, and you see her eyes light up red, and then the feed cuts out.
Yep.
And up until this point, we weren't sure how much control Wanda has, and then straight up there's like a breach in like the field, the energy field that's keeping the town, and she comes through in her Avengers garb with the thing, and she's like, "Is this yours?" Kind of chucks it, and all the sword agents, how they have their lasers on her, lasers, and the director's like, "Hey, we were just trying to be precautious," and Monica's like, "Yo, I wasn't trying to shoot you."
I think she realized Monica is like her ally.
Yes.
I don't think I think she spins the guns back around.
Yeah, so
like very like her dad did in the first X-Men.
Very Magneto. And she's just telling him, she's like, "Hey, don't mess with me. I won't mess with you."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yo, you have a whole town hostage. Like we have to be here." She's like, "Look, this is your only warning." And then she like kind of turns her hand, and all the guns point on the director. She's like, "I won't tell you again," basically. So you're like, "Oh my god!" And then we get to see some classified information, which I think is a far more telling thing than they tried to make it quick.
Right.
Because Monica was under the belief like, "Hey, this is being done to Wanda," and we see that Sword had Vision's body, and Wanda took it from an installation.
Yep.
And the director even says, in concordance with his will, he didn't want to be resurrected, rebuilt, or turned into a weapon. So why does Sword have his body? Who got it out from Wakanda?
Right.
Like, what's been going on? Galore here. Exactly. So I think what happened was Wanda found out that they had the body, and maybe Agnes tells her. Maybe so that this is my thing from earlier. Maybe Agnes was a Shield or a Sword member, and she says, "Hey, they got your man, and they're going to do bad stuff with his body." So I don't know. I think it's very possible. I think that Agnes was her ally before.
Well,
what do
I
you
will
think?
say.
Go for it.
Look, I think that this obviously. I think the show is playing to a lot of parallels. I think Agnes is Agatha Harkness from the comic books. Because the show does play to pop culture references, and this does have a Wizard of Oz feel to it. So we have the Wicked Witch of the West and the Wicked Witch of the Witch of the East, and we have the Good Witch and the Bad Witch.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on here.
Okay, yeah.
So I think she might be another reality warper, and she's kind of maybe not on Wanda's level, but maybe she's trying to take the mantle, the title. I don't know.
I got to tell you guys. Everybody, including my brother, keeps talking to me about Mephisto and even Nightmare.
Don't even.
I'm not saying he's not, but these people who are not super into comics keep posing this to me, and I'm like, just stop reading all the threads. Like,
Don't even worry about that. I wouldn't even. I don't think they.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. I don't think this is where you bring in Mephisto.
No.
Now,
Maybe Nightmare, but
yeah, under Mephisto's orders,
sure.
kind of thing. But I don't think she's dreaming though.
No, I don't. No. This is not a dream.
Nightmare is very much.
They've established this is happening.
Yes.
So it's definitely not a dream or another plane. I think.
Yeah.
There was some cool little Easter eggs I noticed.
Go for it. Yeah, please.
They when Rambeau gets back to reality, the reality, they take her X-ray.
There goes gravity.
And they take her X-ray, and if you notice, it's all white. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that? Mm-hmm. For those you don't know, obviously, she is Photon.
Yeah, Monica becomes Captain Marvel for a little bit, and then she ends up taking her own moniker of Photon. She has similar powers from the Kree, this and that. So, if maybe being in Westview gave her powers?
Could have maybe that blast altered her. Or maybe awoken a gene in there.
It's true, because we don't know how long she's been doing stuff with Sword. Obviously a while. Her mom was deep into it.
Yeah.
That was
not cool.
S words. And then we have Darcy bringing up Captain Marvel, and Monica really avoiding, like, we won't be talking about her, like, she's got some resentment.
Something happened.
Yes. What I think is, I think Captain Marvel, remember she said she was going to bring Tony, like, an elixir when he was all messed up?
Yeah.
Maybe she had the opportunity to bring something to Maria, and unbeknownst to Monica, Maria probably was like, "Hey, no, I'm good. Hey, it's fine."
There's something. I'm curious.
But the animosity is real. I think it might have something to do with her mom being sick, and maybe Carol not coming back enough, or something like that. But there's some resentment, which is going to set up some interesting.
Because in the Captain Marvel movie, they were very close. They established how close she was to Carol, like a sister, like a daughter almost. Yeah. And yeah, I want to know what happened. I really do, man.
Her story lends itself to be explored far more outside of the show. The actress is fantastic, and I'm excited to see where they're going to go.
Yeah,
we're seeing that the twin boys that Wanda and Vision have, like I said, they're able to age themselves up, so they have some sort of power. They seem to be more keen on what's happening in this world as well. Unfortunately, their dog Sparky gets out of the house, gets hit by a car, and it's a very sad moment. And the boys want to kind of age up to, like, get past it, and Wanda's like, don't
click.
Yeah, please, very click. Like, don't, you have to feel this, you have to understand. Right. It's like she's trying to give them a good
absolutely.
And the kids are like, Mom, you can fix it. Like, you can bring him back from the dead, and blah blah blah. And Agnes is like, can you really do that? Again, breaking character.
Yep.
And she's like, look, it would be wrong for me to do this and that. And as she's saying that, you see Vision walking up and like, oh, I'm sorry, boys, and this and that. The show's starting to wrap up a bit, and I loved this because the credits start rolling. Looked very much like a Miller Boyette production.
Yeah.
It was very 80s font, and we had seen the credits roll, and them kind of sit down and watch TV and do some fun stuff. But as the credits are rolling, he's like, Wanda, I talked to Norm, and she's like, oh, okay, well, I'm off to bed, kind of thing. And he's like, whatever you're doing, you're hurting people, and they have this great fight during the credits, which I loved, and Vision is just losing his mind. She's like, he says, you can't control me like you do them. And she's like, can't I? Which was like dark. And she says, you've never talked to me like this before. I love these powerful beings that aren't like omniscient as well. So they don't fully understand the scope of their abilities. You had this with Parallax in DC, where he was fixing things, and even Batman confronting Hal as the Spectre years later and being like, are you fixing things again, Hal? You have that thing of where people are like, oh, I can make it better. Same thing happens. Time travel, alternate realities, just like, if we can go back, we can change things.
Right.
And they have this great fight. I mean, great, where he like levitates, and she levitates, and they're going to have this crazy fight. At least it feels like it. And even he has this great, like I said, Paul Bettany's just killing it. Where he's like, Wanda, I don't know what's happening. I don't remember anything before Westview. He's just losing it. You could see, like, he knows that whatever's happening to him is not natural. And he obviously knows that Norm and the other people, like, they're all being captive.
Yeah.
As they're fighting, he says, look, I have to believe that and I love that he said this, and it's a little exposition-y, but okay, where he's like, look, I have to believe that you weren't aware of it at first, but you've been you've been aware of it longer than I have.
Right.
And she's like, look, he's like, what's outside of Westview? And she says, you don't want to know.
Right. Yeah, you don't wanna know.
And then when he was like, why are there no other children here?
Right.
He's really piecing it together, and he even tells her, look, I'm scared. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
And he's like, you control the story here. And like the door knocks, and she's like, I didn't do that. And he's like, I want to believe you. He's like, I'm ignoring statistics at this point. And she goes up and walks to the door, and it's this great scene, spoilers, where you kind of see the camera from the back shot, kind of gray, black hair, very familiar to us. And as Darcy and the Sword people are watching it, and they're like, oh my gosh, and it's Quicksilver, but from the MCU.
Yeah.
The actor who played, his name is Evan Peters.
Mm-hmm.
He was Quicksilver in the X-Men First Class franchise, that second run of X-Men movies.
Right.
He was arguably the best part in Days of Future Past, had a great part in Apocalypse. It was a really fun Quicksilver.
Yeah,
really
cool.
fun Quicksilver. But that door is and he kind of comes in, he's like, hey, long lost brother, and kind of very Uncle Jesse,
Yes.
very
sitcom-y,
yes,
playing to tropes.
Yes.
Blew my mind. Because it wasn't spoiled for me. I got to watch this unspoiled and was like,
me too.
Whoa.
My brother texted me at like 8 o'clock at Friday morning, and he was like, hey, you have to watch it because it will. He's like, stay off the internet if you can't watch it today. I was like, oh god. So fortunately, I was able to see it and it not be spoiled. But hopefully, you guys have seen it now. And that spoiler warning didn't ruin it for you. But that implication,
it just, again, that just raises more questions. Where do we go from here?
We get a little bit of answers and then a lot more questions.
Right.
And it's just the questions keep getting bigger and pushing down the other questions that we have.
Right.
But dude, that blew my mind.
Yeah.
Now the possibilities are endless.
Right.
It means that they can bring in anybody.
So
why wouldn't you have Hugh Jackman
come
as
back?
Look,
you're right.
Here's a side thought. They were talking about that the Deadpool 3 movie the idea was to have a Wolverine Deadpool road trip. I say do it. I say do it with Hugh Jackman. Do it. And the road trip is Deadpool saying goodbye to the Fox Marvel Universe. And then it ends with them going up to like a strange portal or something.
Yeah, let's go.
And then Deadpool just being like, I'll see you guys on the other side. Then you just have fun with it. Just like close out that series so then you can build on your own Deadpool series.
Close it out with some dignity.
Yeah.
Because Fox didn't bother to do that.
No.
We did know we did speculate on this.
Yes. We said that if you didn't get Quicksilver back, it would be a waste of this.
What did you call him? Muscly Quicksilver?
Yeah.
We didn't get muscly Quicksilver back. Who I think...
Jacked Quicksilver.
His superior. The one we had in the MCU, I liked him a lot.
I liked his look. I didn't care for his accent.
I liked it. I thought he did pretty good.
I liked Elizabeth Olsen's, and she kind of brought it back when
she's
came
threatening.
out. Yeah.
When she's threatening and she gets that Sokovian accent, it's like, there it is.
And she means business.
Because people from the South, when they lose their accents... when they move among the Yankees, but when they get mad, the accent
comes out.
Yeah, but
it was a really great moment because we hadn't really seen it since maybe Civil War.
Right,
we hadn't seen, which makes sense. Like people inferred oh, she's learning how to hide.
Sure.
So I'm totally down with that. It's obviously she has some training from Black Widow.
Yeah, and Cap and Bucky,
so they know what's up.
But it just because we are getting Jamie Foxx.
We are.
We're getting Tobey Maguire. Mm-hmm. We're getting all these kind of.
But that's in a Sony property,
realm.
though.
Right.
That's in a Sony-owned property.
Kind of bleeding into this.
It is bleeding into it, so it's allowing for that possibility.
It makes me wonder if Marvel is kind of doing this just to make it a little easier on them. Like, we want these characters.
Yeah.
How do we break down barriers of companies? Mm-hmm. These company-owned characters. What's the way around this?
Yeah.
Oh, multiverse.
Yeah.
Multiverse. We can bring anybody in, put anybody out. In anybody else's hands, this would be very lazy.
Yes.
Works here.
Yes. And it was nice to have the MCU surprise us And they do it. They do it every movie.
They do.
But you think that they can't.
Right.
You think that they can't do it, and then, man, like, I don't think anybody... Now, I know that I had heard that there were rumors that Evan Peters was on set.
Right.
But that was a long time ago. I completely forgot about it, and I'm glad that I did, because I was like, what? I couldn't believe it, and I'm so excited.
I was like, whoa.
Now, there have been some people saying that, Evan Peters is just like a guy in the town, and blah, blah, blah. Then why do it?
It could just be like a funny thing where a lot of those 80s sitcoms did campy stuff like that. Maybe it's a meta nod to like, they recast people all the time in sitcoms.
And Darcy made mention of that. She's like, they recasted Pietro? Like, that's so weird to me.
That part,
Yeah.
That part kind of threw me off too. And then when she calls him Pietro, he didn't it didn't resonate with him.
Yeah.
He gave her that look like,
Yeah. But then he says, hey, long lost brother. Right. So, like, it was, it is, I don't know. It's crazy. I can't wait for episode 6. And I think the show's going to be 10 episodes. So we're at the halfway point.
And if this is halfway, this is only going to get more weird.
Yeah. It's going to get more weird, especially when I'm totally wrong and Mephisto shows up.
I really hope they don't.
I hope they don't either.
Don't waste Mephisto on this, man. It's
because
not
right now it doesn't need Mephisto at all.
It doesn't.
Have Agatha be the control.
Just do that.
And if she's a minion of Mephisto,
I'm okay with that. I'd rather her be like how Hydra was experimenting with the twins. She was Sword's experiment. She was the Sword's. Maybe they had a gem.
Yeah.
Or they got a hold of a gem and they were able to experiment with people. And she was the product of a Sword experiment.
Interesting.
I would be okay with that.
Interesting. I could be into it. I think that's our show, man.
Yeah. I think there was a lot to unpack there, man.
It was great. I'm so excited for the show. I love how ambitious it is. And I love that, again, that they're surprising us. If you like what we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. Leave us a comment below. Give us a like. Tell your friends. Let's get this show. Let's get some more subscribers. Get some more views. And if you don't like parts of the show, let us know below. No disrespect. We're just we want to make good content for you. Eric, do you have any final thoughts for us today?
My mind's blown. I've got no thoughts.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yeah, just like Monica Rambeau, your slate is clean. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you so much for listening. I have been your host, Roman Chavez.
I'm still Eric Icarus.
And we will catch you on the next podcast.